The Samsung Galaxy A16 is one of those devices that just came out. It's a budget tier device, and it's one of those phones that I genuinely do think is a really decent priced phone for what you're getting. The Samsung Galaxy S22, on the other hand, is a little bit of a different device. This was a flagship that came out a couple of years ago, and the thing here is to kind of see how both these phones kind of compare. Is a Samsung Galaxy A16, the newest cheap phone that you can buy, better than a 2-year-old flagship that kind of had some problems too? Let's go and take a look. If you want to pick up either one of these phones though, links will be down in the description. You can get them from there, and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside between both devices, the Samsung Galaxy S22, which came out just a couple years ago, is giving you a 6.1-inch dynamic AMOLED display. It's 1080p, it's a hole punch display, and that panel is very good. It still holds up like fairly well in this day and age. It's 120 Hz, it's 1300 nits of brightness, and I do think it's still like an interesting device to pick up. The Galaxy A16, on the other hand, is going to be giving you a little bit of a bigger 6.7-inch Super AMOLED display. It's 90 Hz. This one is also 1080p, but there are some differences here. The A16 doesn't get as bright as the Galaxy S22, the refresh rate isn't as high, but also it's just not as good of a panel. The pixels per inch are just higher on the S22, so it's just going to be a better device overall. USB Type-C ports on the bottom. The biggest advantage the A16 has is that it does have a microSD card slot. So I do think that is a really big advantage for that type of device. Being able to go through and have a microSD card slot inside of that device, I think is a really, really cool feature. So this in and of itself is probably a really good advantage with this type of device. On the backside, plastic back on the Galaxy A16, and Galaxy S22 has a frosted glass back. So that's another really big thing to kind of keep in mind here. Wireless charging on the Galaxy S22, reverse wireless charging on that phone. Overall, way better feeling phone and more flagship features still on the S22 than the Galaxy A16. You're also getting a triple camera setup on the backside of both these devices. Now, they're both megapixel counts are a little bit different, but the big thing to keep in mind that you're getting an ultra-wide camera inside of the Galaxy S22 and an telephoto lens. The A16 is only giving you an ultra-wide macro lens beyond the wide lens. You can only film in 1080p video on the front and the back of the Galaxy A16. The Galaxy S22, you can do 4K at 60 on the front and the back and 8K capability. This is another really big advantage for that type of device, and being able to go through and have that type of feature set within it, I think is another really, really big advantage there. So that right there is another really cool thing to keep in mind within that type of device too. In terms of software support, this is where the Galaxy A16 kind of wins at. The A16 is probably going to be giving you a longer supported phone than the Galaxy S22. And that is the thing that is actually very, very insane. I really do think that, in my personal opinion, something like the Samsung Galaxy S22 is probably going to be, it's not just going to last as long as the Galaxy A16. So if I was to go through and pick up a phone, I would want a phone that's going to be giving me a longer supported device, and I think the Galaxy A16 probably is the one that's going to win there. But when it comes down to the performance, this is the other thing. Something like the Samsung Galaxy A16 really isn't going to go through and give me a better experience than the Galaxy S22. The S22 had that Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chipset inside with 8GB of RAM, where the Galaxy A16 had that Exynos, actually it had a MediaTek Helio G99 chipset inside with 4, 6, or 8GB of RAM. And when it comes down to this particular side, right, this is another one of those big things to keep in mind. I personally think, once again, getting a device like you can get on something like a Galaxy S22, the performance of that phone is still going to be pretty good. That still is a pretty decent performing device. I would say with something like this, Samsung Galaxy S16, it just really isn't that great. It's going to be giving you some differences here and there, and that might be the problem that you might experience within that type of device from that particular situation. So, in my personal opinion, what I definitely would tell you, a Samsung Galaxy S22 is a better phone in some ways. It's a better feeling phone. It's just a couple of generational flagships, so I think that also makes a lot of sense to buy a phone like this in that particular situation. However, I probably would say if you're going to look at a device like this, I think it might make more sense to buy something, not a Galaxy A16, but maybe something like a Galaxy S23 FE, maybe a used Galaxy S21 to get a phone in between these two. But I think there are some other options here. I don't know if there's a phone necessarily that's better here because they're both kind of different. I think the S22 is overall better, but I do think the software updates on the Galaxy A16 make it a little bit of a better phone here and there. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there too. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.